Have you ever stopped to think about what happens to the millions of tires that are discarded every day around the world? As you drive through the city, go to work, or take your children to school, tons of old rubber silently accumulate in gigantic dumps spread across all continents. These tire graveyards represent one of humanity's greatest environmental challenges, but they also hide one of the most lucrative economic opportunities you can imagine. Each year, more than 1 billion tires reach the end of their useful life. This represents approximately 17 million tons of pure rubber, steel, and textile fibers that, if poorly managed, can take hundreds of years to degrade in nature. But here's the secret few know. Each of these discarded tires is worth gold to those who know how to transform it. We're not talking about cents. We're talking about an industry that moves trillions of dollars annually. Specialized companies around the world have discovered how to extract maximum value from these waste products. They have developed sophisticated industrial processes that separate, shred, refine, and transform old tires into high-value added products. Modified asphalt, sports flooring, acoustic insulation, alternative fuel, and dozens of other applications. The global tire recycling market has already surpassed the $60 billion mark per year, and analysts predict that this number could double in the coming decades. To give you a real sense of this business, a single recycled tire can generate up to $10 in net profit for the industry. Multiply that by billions of units processed annually, and you begin to understand the size of this money-making machine. We are talking about profit margins that can reach 40% in some segments, with growing demand and government incentives that make the business even more attractive. Today, you will discover how an invisible industry is literally paving the future beneath your feet and profiting trillions in the process. You will understand why governments, multinational corporations, and investors are eyeing this market. And most importantly, you will realize that the future of the global economy is being built from something most people consider just trash. The story of this economic revolution began a few decades ago, when engineers and scientists faced two seemingly distinct problems. On one hand, traditional asphalt roads wore out quickly, generating astronomical maintenance costs for governments and companies. On the other hand, mountains of old tires accumulated with no destination, creating environmental and health risks in various countries. No one imagined that these two challenges could transform into each other's solution. It was then that the question that would change everything arose. What if we could use the rubber from old tires to improve the quality of asphalt? The first experiments were carried out in university laboratories and research centers where scientists tested different proportions of ground rubber mixed with traditional bitumen. The initial results were surprising. The modified asphalt not only worked, but was significantly superior to conventional asphalt in several technical aspects. The first commercial applications occurred in small experimental sections of highways. Engineers carefully monitored the performance of these roads over months and years, comparing them with adjacent conventional sections. The data was conclusive. Rubberized asphalt lasted longer, resisted climatic variations better, reduced traffic noise, and offered better grip in adverse conditions. But the most impressive aspect was the economic one. Despite the slightly higher initial cost, the long-term savings were substantial. When the first economic feasibility studies were published, investors and entrepreneurs realized the explosive potential of this market. It was not just an environmental solution, it was an extremely lucrative business with guaranteed demand. Governments began to offer tax incentives for the use of recycled materials in public works. Private companies invested heavily in recycling plants, and the market began to grow exponentially. Today, decades after those first experiments, the tire recycling industry is a global giant. Thousands of companies operate on all continents, processing billions of tires annually. What began as an experimental solution has transformed into one of the most lucrative sectors of the circular economy. And most impressively, we are still only at the beginning of this revolution. To understand how this industry generates trillions of dollars, you need to know the complete value chain, from the moment you discard your old tire to the final product that generates profit. Each stage of this process represents a business opportunity, and specialized companies dominate specific segments of this chain. Let's start at the beginning. collection, and logistics. When you change your car's tires, they don't just disappear. There is an entire collection infrastructure operating behind the scenes. Tire shops, mechanical workshops, and tire dealers are primary collection points. Companies specializing in reverse logistics regularly collect these tires, transporting them to sorting centers. This first link in the chain already moves billions of dollars annually. And in many countries, tire manufacturers are legally obliged to finance this collection system. At the sorting centers, tires undergo an initial evaluation. Some can still be retreaded and resold, a parallel market that also generates significant revenue. Tires that cannot be recovered proceed to recycling plants, where the transformation process begins. This is where the financial magic truly happens. Each component of the tire has a specific commercial value. The recycling process separates three main materials: rubber, steel, and textile fibers. The recovered steel is sold to steel mills and metallurgical industries, generating the first source of revenue from the process. Next, density separation and screening systems remove the textile fibers. These fibers, although in smaller volume, also find applications in construction and insulation materials, adding another layer of value to the waste. The true treasure, the rubber, is then ground in high-precision granulators. Depending on the final application, the rubber can be reduced to different particle sizes, from larger granules for sports flooring to a very fine powder, almost like talc, for rubberized asphalt and other chemical products. The quality and purity of this granulate are crucial and determine its market value, which can vary significantly. You've probably never heard of most of the companies that dominate the global tire recycling market, and that's exactly how they prefer it. These invisible giants operate behind the scenes of the economy, processing millions of tons of rubber annually and earning billions of dollars without appearing in newspaper headlines. But when you analyze the numbers, you realize that these companies are as powerful as the large corporations you know. The largest companies in the sector control the entire value chain, from collection to the sale of the final product. They own fleets of trucks for logistics, state-of-the-art industrial plants, research and development laboratories, and commercial teams that negotiate multi-million-dollar contracts with governments and large construction companies. Some of these companies are publicly traded, listed on stock exchanges, while others are family conglomerates that have been operating for decades. The financial figures of these companies are impressive. The global leaders in the sector generate between $2 billion and $5 billion annually each, with operating profit margins ranging from 25% to 40%, depending on the segment of activity. These margins are comparable to or higher than those of many traditional industries considered highly lucrative. And the best part? Demand is practically guaranteed. As long as there are cars on the roads, there will be tires being discarded. In addition to the global giants, there is an ecosystem of regional and specialized companies that dominate specific niches of the market. Some focus exclusively on the production of high-quality granulate for premium applications. Others specialize in rubberized asphalt and work directly with government transportation departments. There are also companies that transform recycled rubber into consumer products, automotive mats, playground flooring, sports coatings, and even footwear. What makes this market even more attractive is government support. In dozens of countries, there are laws that require or encourage the use of recycled materials in public works. This means that companies in the sector have privileged access to long-term government contracts with guaranteed values and revenue predictability. For investors, this represents security and consistent returns, rare characteristics in many sectors of the modern economy. The process of transforming an old tire into high-value products is a fascinating combination of mechanical engineering, industrial chemistry, and technological innovation. For you to understand the added value at each stage, let's delve into the technical details that make this industry a profit-generating machine. It all begins when tires arrive at recycling plants, already separated by type and size. The first stage is primary shredding, where gigantic machines equipped with special steel blades cut the tires into smaller pieces. These machines are designed to handle the extreme resistance of vulcanized rubber and the internal steel of the tires. The investment in shredding equipment can reach millions of dollars per unit, but operational efficiency quickly pays off. A single modern machine can process hundreds of tires per hour. After initial shredding, the tire pieces pass through magnetic separators that extract the steel. This steel is cleaned, compacted, and sold to steel mills, generating the first source of revenue from the process. Next, density separation and screening systems remove the textile fibers. These fibers, although in smaller volume, also find applications in construction and insulation materials, adding another layer of value to the waste. The true treasure, the rubber, is then ground in high-precision granulators. Depending on the final application, the rubber can be reduced to different particle sizes, from larger granules for sports flooring to a very fine powder, almost like talc for rubberized asphalt and other chemical products. The quality and purity of this granulate are crucial and determine its market value, which can vary significantly. In the case of rubberized asphalt, the granulate is mixed with hot bitumen in carefully controlled proportions. This mixture creates a blend that is up to 30% more resistant than conventional asphalt, in addition to being more flexible and durable. This technical superiority translates into roads that last more than 10 years without significant maintenance, generating billions in savings for public coffers and ensuring consistent profits for the companies that master this technology. Although rubberized asphalt is one of the most well-known and lucrative applications for recycled tires, the versatility of ground rubber opens up a vast array of other market opportunities, each generating billions of dollars in revenue. The industry is constantly innovating, finding new ways to transform this waste into high-value-added products, further expanding the trillion-dollar dimension of this sector. One of the largest application areas is sports and recreational surfaces. Rubber granulate is the ideal material for playground flooring, running tracks, synthetic turf football fields, and multi-sport courts. Its impact-absorbing capacity reduces injuries, and its durability ensures a long lifespan, making it an economical and safe choice for municipalities and sports clubs worldwide. In civil construction, recycled rubber is used in roofing tiles, acoustic and thermal insulation, and even in lightweight concrete blocks. Its resistance to water and weathering, combined with its insulating properties, makes it a valuable material for more sustainable and energy-efficient buildings. This application not only reduces waste, but also contributes to reducing energy consumption in buildings. The automotive industry, ironically, is also a large consumer of recycled rubber. Car mats, seals, suspension components, and even some parts of new tires can incorporate recycled material. This creates a virtuous cycle, where the original product becomes the raw material for its own renewal, demonstrating the power of the circular economy in action and generating profits at every stage. Another significant application is tire-derived fuel, TDF. Shredded tires can be used as an alternative fuel in cement kilns, industrial boilers, and power plants. TDF has a higher calorific value than coal and burns more cleanly, reducing emissions. This application not only solves the disposal problem, but also generates energy savings and revenue for the companies that produce it. The global tire recycling market continues to grow, driven by a combination of economic, environmental, and social factors. Market analysts estimate that, in the coming decades, this sector could easily surpass the $100 billion annual mark, consolidating itself as one of the pillars of the circular economy and a driver of innovation and profit. One of the main drivers of this demand is accelerated urbanization and the consequent increase in the global vehicle fleet. More cars mean more tires, and more tires mean more waste to manage. Global infrastructure, especially in developing countries, needs to be built and maintained, and rubberized asphalt offers a durable and economical solution to this challenge. Growing environmental awareness also plays a crucial role. Consumers, businesses, and governments are increasingly concerned about the ecological impact of their products and operations. Tire recycling is not only a legal obligation in many places, but also a corporate social responsibility strategy that adds brand value and attracts conscious investors. Regionally, growth is uneven but promising across the globe. Developed countries like the United States and European nations already have tire recycling rates exceeding 80% and 95% respectively, with mature markets and advanced technologies. However, the greatest growth potential lies in emerging markets in Asia, Latin America, and Africa, where infrastructure is expanding and environmental legislation is strengthening. The international trade of recycled rubber and its derivatives is also a significant factor. Companies export rubber granulate to countries that lack sufficient recycling capacity or that seek cheaper and more sustainable raw materials. This global supply network creates a dynamic and interconnected market, where logistical efficiency and product quality are key to success and profitability. The role of governments is fundamental to the success and expansion of the tire recycling industry. Through a combination of tax incentives, subsidies, and strict regulations, states drive demand for recycled materials and ensure the economic viability of the entire sector, transforming an environmental problem into a source of revenue and development. Many countries have implemented extended producer responsibility (EPR) programs, where tire manufacturers are legally responsible for managing the complete life cycle of their products, including collection and recycling. This creates a continuous funding stream for the recycling industry, ensuring that resources are available to process discarded tires and encouraging innovation in recycling methods. In addition to EPR, governments offer a range of tax incentives for companies that invest in recycling technologies or use recycled materials in their products. This can include tax exemptions on equipment, tax credits for research and development, or direct subsidies for the production of rubberized asphalt and other sustainable products, making investment in the sector even more attractive. Public procurement policies are also a powerful driver. In many places, government agencies are required to give preference to products and materials containing recycled content, especially in infrastructure projects like roads. This guaranteed demand from the largest buyer in the market offers stability and predictability for recycling companies, allowing them to plan long-term investments. Environmental regulations, which prohibit the disposal of tires in landfills or indiscriminate burning, force the industry to seek recycling solutions. This regulatory pressure, while it may seem an initial burden, actually creates a captive market for recyclers, ensuring a constant flow of raw material and continuous demand for their services and products. In summary, collaboration between the public and private sectors is key to the sustainable and profitable growth of the tire recycling industry. Governments create a favorable environment through policies and incentives, and companies respond with innovation, efficiency, and the creation of value from what was once considered an insoluble problem. For investors seeking solid and sustainable returns, the tire recycling market presents a golden opportunity. With growing demand, government support, and attractive profit margins, the sector attracts smart capital from various sources, from venture capital funds to large corporations and individual investors. There are multiple avenues for investing in this trillion-dollar market. One is direct investment in tire recycling plants. The construction and operation of a modern plant requires significant initial capital, but offers consistent returns due to the constant flow of raw material, discarded tires, and the guaranteed demand for recycled products. Operational efficiency and cutting-edge technology are crucial for maximizing profitability. Another opportunity lies in companies specializing in manufacturing products from recycled rubber. This includes rubberized asphalt manufacturers, sports flooring companies, producers of sustainable construction materials, and even industries that develop new rubber compounds for high-tech applications. The added value in these final products can be substantial, generating high profit margins. Venture capital and private equity funds are increasingly interested in startups and innovative companies that develop new recycling technologies or new applications for rubber. These high-risk, high-return investments seek disruptors who can optimize processes, reduce costs, or open entirely new markets, accelerating the industry's evolution. For individual investors, the most accessible option may be through publicly traded companies operating in the recycling sector or those that use recycled rubber on a large scale. Analyzing the performance of these companies on the stock exchange can reveal long-term growth opportunities, especially those with a strong commitment to sustainability and innovation. The stability and long-term growth potential make the tire recycling market a safe haven for capital. In a world increasingly focused on sustainability, and the circular economy, companies that transform waste into valuable resources are positioned to prosper, offering financial returns and a positive impact on the planet. In the tire recycling market, positive environmental impact is not just a secondary benefit. It is a central component of the business model and a direct source of economic value. The ability to solve a massive environmental problem while generating substantial profits is what makes this industry so attractive and sustainable in the long term. Green, in this case, is literally gold. The reduction of landfill waste is the most obvious environmental benefit. Millions of tons of tires that once occupied vast land areas and posed risks of fire and disease vector proliferation are now diverted to recycling. This saving of landfill space and the prevention of environmental problems represent billions in savings for municipalities and governments, which translates into value for the recycling industry. Furthermore, tire recycling contributes significantly to reducing the carbon footprint. The production of recycled rubber consumes considerably less energy than the production of virgin rubber, resulting in lower greenhouse gas emissions. Companies that use recycled materials can benefit from carbon credits and improve their sustainability image, attracting conscious consumers and investors. The use of rubberized asphalt, for example, not only consumes old tires, but also extends the lifespan of roads, reducing the need for frequent maintenance and the consequent carbon emissions associated with construction and repair. This superior durability is both an environmental and economic benefit, as fewer resources are spent on repairs and less new material needs to be produced. Corporate social responsibility, CSR, and brand value are other important factors. Companies that demonstrate a strong commitment to sustainability, using recycled materials and promoting the circular economy, build a positive reputation. This can lead to increased sales, customer loyalty, and talent attraction, all of which translate into competitive advantages and higher profits. In summary, the tire recycling market is a perfect example of how sustainability and profitability can go hand in hand. By transforming an environmental problem into an economic solution, the industry not only saves the planet, but also creates a robust and resilient business model, proving that doing good can be extremely profitable. The tire recycling industry is constantly evolving, with new technologies and innovations emerging to make the process even more efficient, profitable, and environmentally friendly. The next frontier promises to further revolutionize how we deal with this waste, opening new avenues of profit and expanding the applications of recycled rubber. One of the most promising areas is pyrolysis, a thermochemical process that decomposes tires in the absence of oxygen. Pyrolysis can convert old tires into fuel oil, gas, steel, and a type of recovered carbon black. The oil and gas can be used as energy sources, while the recovered carbon black can be reintroduced into the manufacturing of new tires or other rubber products, closing the loop. Another important innovation is devulcanization, a process that reverses the vulcanization of rubber, allowing it to be reprocessed and molded like virgin rubber. This opens the door to creating high-quality rubber products from recycled material, reducing dependence on virgin resources, and increasing the value of recovered rubber. Material science is also advancing, creating new composites and high-performance products that incorporate recycled rubber. Researchers are developing lighter, stronger, and more durable materials for a variety of applications, from automotive components to advanced construction materials, expanding the market for recycled rubber. Automation and artificial intelligence, AI, are increasingly being integrated into recycling plants. Robots and computer vision systems can optimize material separation, increase the efficiency of the shredding process, and reduce operational costs. AI can also be used to predict market demand and optimize production, maximizing profits. Finally, the concept of smart roads is gaining traction, with recycled rubber playing a crucial role. Sensors embedded in rubberized asphalt can monitor traffic, weather conditions, and road integrity, providing real-time data to optimize maintenance and improve safety. These innovations not only create value, but also position the industry at the forefront of future infrastructure. We have reached the end of our journey through this trillion-dollar market, And you now understand the magnitude of the transformation happening behind the scenes. The next time you drive on a smooth and quiet road, remember, beneath your feet may be proof that trash can turn into gold. Literally, the tire recycling market is not just a solution to an environmental problem. It is a powerful economic force that moves trillions of dollars, generates millions of jobs, and drives innovation worldwide. It is an industry that proves that sustainability and profitability can coexist and strengthen each other, creating a more prosperous and resilient future. You, as a consumer, have a fundamental role in this revolution. By choosing products that incorporate recycled materials, by supporting companies with sustainable practices, and by ensuring that your own tires are disposed of correctly, you contribute directly to the growth and success of this industry. Your choices have a real economic and environmental impact. For entrepreneurs and innovators, this market offers fertile ground for new ideas and businesses. There is room to optimize collection, develop new processing technologies, create innovative products from recycled rubber, and explore new markets. Demand is vast, and opportunities are limitless for those with vision and initiative. So the final question is, will you just watch, or will you be part of this revolution? The future of roads, infrastructure, and the global economy is being built now, from something that was once considered a problem. Remember, the future is built by those who see value where others see only trash.